This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the DailyFX Forum.
Hello and welcome to the DailyFX Forum Highlights video. So just scrolling through the forums tonight here on the scalping and intraday trading thread. Some posts here that I wanted to highlight. First by Michael, GSCDV. Brad, you are awesome. Should have followed you in the short highway. Lost 100 pips. Now queuing to go long at 145.75 with a stop loss of 100 pips. Thanks, bro. And then Sean writing back. And Sean, who's an excellent trader. Mike, will be interesting to see if the 146 level holds and the 100 SMA on the daily chart. And then Brad, 1199 posts his charts, and of course Brad was spot on in terms of as soon as prices did penetrate and close beneath this trend line, he was recommending short trades and actually showing his entries for those short trades. And I just want to go ahead and read it. After Eurodollar penetrated its long-term uptrend line on the daily chart this week, I said the market would drop to 145.75, looking for Fibonacci support, and price has now done that. And now we may see a strong bounce from this level in the days ahead. Ultimately, I favor short positions in this pair by about 149-ish. And I want to highlight here, and Michael went ahead and asked the question, should have followed you on the short highway, lost 100 pips, and now he wants to go long at 145.75. The one thing that I would caution against with that logic, and you know, it's with experience that I mentioned this point, is that if you've missed, in this case, if you missed the downside, if you missed the short trade, I wouldn't necessarily jump in here on the long side. As Brad was mentioning, ultimately I favor short positions. Now, with that being said, if a clear long setup does present itself where you have very favorable risk reward, entry and a clear location, a clear level of support where you can place your stop, then you might go ahead and do that. But what I would say, and I think Brad would agree with me, is that it's just a matter of patience and wait for prices to come up to the former resistance line. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart. This is the chart that I was using, and I was calling for about take profits at about 46.25, about the 46 figure. So I would go ahead and just take profits on all the short trades here. And again, what I'm waiting for and what I would suggest is just wait for prices to come back up for a short trade on the opposite side of this previous support line, which should now act as resistance. And it's very tempting, obviously, to want to go long at this point, but again, in my experience, we should hold off on that. The trade is short, and we should wait for the right moment to enter that short trade. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the DailyFX. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the DailyFX forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something, you know, catches your interest. But personally, I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now, these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education, such as DailyFX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, you know, personally, the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads, just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart, but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to, you know, shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things, you know, with the right mind in terms of, you know, I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's, you know, my personal way of using the forum. You know, every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left hand side. My username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually first we're going to have some terms of service and DailyFX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, you know, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on, you know, how to use the forum and how different traders can use it, you know, in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there, you'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register, the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, you know, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now, the most difficult aspect of registration for the DailyFX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now, I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now, there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should, you know, double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would, you know, suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the DailyFX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.